So the reason I switched it to this link is this is a recorded link. We were using mine before, which was not. Okay. And the reason I did it is last time it was just Jeff and me and Liz. And it was this like unbelievable thing that I was like, there's no way that we could have recreated it. And my only thought the whole time was like, oh my God, I wish Kim and Dana could get the benefit of this. And so are you guys cool to A? And then B, if you are, then our agreement is if you say anything confidential, I can delete it. If you do want to talk about anything that is confidential or anything, we can stop it and talk about it. It's just basically like for that reason. So are you guys okay with that? And everybody's okay with that?
Yep, I'm good.
Yeah, I had just an overwhelming, I don't know if you felt like that, Jeff, from your chair, but I had an overwhelming sense of like, I cannot believe this wasn't recorded. We can't give this to them.
Yeah, I felt really good after that meeting.
That's what I mean. Like, see what and I'm like, man. And then I had no record of it, like nothing. I'm like, oh man. Jeff got this like 2-on-1 and it was like we were just all zoned in, and it was like, oh my God, we just totally fixed Jeff St. Clair. He's completely cured. Like he's fully cured right now. And then I can't prove that though. I don't have it recorded. So that's what's going on with it too. Liz had to go out for a second. She'll be here in just a second. Are you guys okay on time?
Yeah.
BB, I saw you registered for Inspire. I see Kim. Jeff, I don't know if I remember seeing you. Are you able to go?
Oh yeah, I registered.
You did? I just missed it then.
Months ago. I already got the airline booked and the room booked, everything.
Damn, airfare was expensive this time.
No, the whole thing is, and I feel bad, but what am I going to do? I don't know.
Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I think last year
they raised the price on us for the rooms by ×3. And I was like, I have to do it. So I had to pay it.
Yeah, it's wild.
That weird world we're in right now. So you guys are good there. And then, well, let's start then. Liz will just jump on in a second. So what I want to do then is go around. If you guys can just take a minute, tell us where you're at in your neurofeedback journey, and then using this opportunity to, if any benefits that you see, anything that you're realizing about it. The purpose of this is, as I said, like this is the same as working out. It works if you do it. It doesn't if you don't. And then, but I get it. I'm doing it along with you guys too. And so using this reminds me that, so we use this group to kind of remind each other, like, oh my gosh, go do that, go do that, go do that. I've been on an amazing streak. Not that you care about me, but I've been on an amazing streak. I'm probably averaging 4 times a week right now, and it's made a really big difference. So that's the best way I can say it. Probably Liz could describe it in my behavior. I'm just getting better and better at, I'm not saying I'm all the way there, but I'm getting better and better at almost no red, which is really the goal for me. That's what I'm trying to get to, especially because I lead this thing, right? Then I stand up here and I give the green red speech. If I'm all in red, like it doesn't work, right? So I've got this really big motivation too, when as the leader of it, and to try to lead by example too. So it's not, this is what I think Kim said it before too. It's not that I don't still get the thoughts. I'm just gotten so much better at, there's the thought, there's the emotion with the thought. That emotion doesn't serve me, let it go. Does that make sense? We're going to do an exercise at Inspire where I'm going to bring you guys into like a present place, and then get like where you guys are writing down your thoughts and then what's the emotion with each thought so that you guys can get that awareness too. I'm doing a lot of that work on me. So it still comes in, boom. And then I can even feel the emotion for a second. And then I'm like, okay, that's the old pattern. That doesn't serve me at all. Let it go. It's the best way I can describe it to everybody. So I'm not fully there. And I definitely won't say that you won't still have the thought that creates the red emotion. Does that make sense, Dana, too? Like in there? But I can tell you that through the process of neurofeedback and then some of the other stuff I'm going to do at Inspire too, I'm like, it's really exciting. That's where I'm at. Not that you guys care about my journey, but I'm doing it with you here too. Liz is the professional. I'm the student. So she's jumping on now. I can see her almost on.
I'm here. Sorry. So sorry.
That's okay.
Kid emergency.
I just shared mine, and what I said is like, I'm not saying that I'm not, I still get the thought and the emotion. I'm just getting better at letting it go with that. And I'm noticing that, you know, that as a big, but you've seen, I made a huge, like, I'm almost doing it every morning right now, every work morning. I'm probably getting 4 out of the 5 in right now. And then I do it pretty close to first thing. So that's mine. Who wants to share their experience now?
I'll go. Oh,
Go ahead, Dana.
I actually have been horrible lately. And I appreciate Liz for gently prodding me. But I have just, as much as, you know, fun as we've been having this summer, it's also taken me away a lot.
Yeah.
And so just like a lot of vacationing and, you know, you don't bring it with you and all those things. So I was doing really well. And then I literally fell off the cliff. So I got back into it this week and I did one on Monday and I'm going to get one in today. But I've only done 2 trainings where now I'm doing both. Help me out, Liz.
Audio, video.
Audio and video, but the 2 different, you know, waves. So I've only done 2 of those so far. But it's kind of cool to do. And just, I feel like with both the video and the audio, you're almost paying a little bit more attention to focusing on what you're doing, because there's multiple cues letting you know that, you know, okay, you're losing the audio, you're losing the visual, and it's like it brings me right back to what I'm should be doing and just relaxing and enjoying the process. So I've made I'm home for a while, so awesome. I'm gonna be getting back into it.
Awesome.
That's just honesty.
Well, but that's the only thing, right? That's the purpose of it. It's that I just can't think of a better analogy than like going to the gym, right? Like you go to the gym. If you keep going to the gym, you're going to get great results. If you don't, you won't. But then how do you consistently go to the gym, right? And then that's what the purpose of this group is, just to help always bring you back on track. Because without it, you could go months, right? Before, like it happened to Jeff, right? Like, you know, and then all of a sudden you've forgotten, and then you're getting a bill and you're like, this sucks. I'm paying and I'm doing nothing. And then it's like a gym membership, you know, and it's like that thing. So we're here to help with whatever. And I'm on the journey with you. So thanks for sharing that. Who else wants to go?
I'll go. So I was telling Liz yesterday, my biggest issue that I've been having is the interruptions. So I bumped mine up to 40 minutes.
Ooh, I've done that before. Yeah.
The feeling when you're in that,
I know.
It's just great. So I wanted to make it last as long as I could. But
doing the alpha theta, is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. And when you do get into, when it crosses and you get there in that meditative state, it's just so awesome. But I was telling her with the summer and the kids, I've been just like, I'll do it and she'll notice, because all of a sudden I'll just pop out of it because I'll have a kid run in my room and, you know, they're fighting, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I haven't been able to do like a full 40 minutes in the summer, but And I was saying yesterday, I was doing it with this COVID. I was
Yeah.
having a hard time with that headache, trying to concentrate, but it has helped my sleep quite a bit at
Also,
night with the
tell us.
COVID. So
Oh, with the COVID, yeah.
yeah, definitely. I've noticed like the minute I got it, I was not sleeping at night. I just couldn't sleep. I wasn't feeling good, couldn't sleep. And then I started going back to doing it more consistently. And I have been able to sleep at night the past few nights, and it's been good. So
What's the feel? That's awesome. What's the feeling that you get when now I know that maybe Jeff and Dana are like, what are you guys talking about? Alpha theta. That's like the next thing once you get through the first part, like, Liz can help out with that. But what's the feeling that you get when it crosses over, right?
it's almost like you're in this deep meditative sleep.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're almost I can't describe it very well, like maybe a hypnosis sleep where you're just in this very relaxed, calm state.
She
And
says that you're like amazing at figuring out getting into that.
I love it. It's great.
She's like, Kim's way better than you are getting into that.
I want to get to that state as fast as possible because it is like so incredibly relaxing. And then when you come out of it, you're just like, no, you want more of it. But it really does help regulate your moods and just everything. It just calms you down. So
yeah, the best way I can say it is there's a presence for the entire day after that. If I do mine in the morning, I don't know when you do it, but yeah, there's just a presence and a clarity when I do that. I don't know. Do you experience that too?
yeah, well, yeah, because it's almost like you take that with you the whole entire day and night. It's peaceful. It's just really peaceful. That's the way I describe it.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for sharing. Do you have any questions, anybody, for like as we're going around, Dana or Kim, before we go to Jeff or Liz on anything technical wise or anything?
Sorry, you have COVID.
Thanks. Should be finished with it any day now. So, but thank you.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The no sleeping thing. It's like a weird state.
Yes.
Like you're not sleeping well. It's almost like it almost was like euphoric for me or something like that. It was a really weird, non-restful sleep.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Jeff, how are you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. For just to follow up with what you were saying, as I was doing this for a period of time and then kind of stopped for a while and then started to get back into it more recently. And I was having a real difficult time getting it to work. Found out with several meetings with Liz that I have a very active beta and it just pretty much off the charts. So we're dialing that back in. And I did a successful, probably one of the best ones recently. I think it was Tuesday, where I was actually able to get good readings for the majority of, or about half of the time. So I was really excited to see that. I'm going to do one this afternoon, another follow-up, but I remember that it definitely does help in so many areas when you're doing it consistently. Just like you said, when you go to the gym, when you stop going, it takes a while to get back into it. So that's where I feel like I'm right now. But our last meeting was really, really helpful, impactful for me to get through the clutter in my head that was preventing me from having the results that we're looking for. So
how do you experience high theta? And then maybe we can ask Liz, like from a technical standpoint. I'm just curious.
This is beta, but
beta.
Oh, beta. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. I remember seeing that. Okay.
Yeah. So
how do you experience, how do you experience, and then how would Liz explain it?
I remember years ago, there was a television commercial and it showed people with ADD and what they experienced life. And it was just basically the TV channel changing every 2 seconds. And yeah. I think that's a good analogy because I experienced that a lot just throughout my days. And but I think that's a good way of explaining it. Just constantly one thought and then to the next and to the next. And you're just trying to hang on to one long enough to actually be productive.
Is that symptomatic of ADD, Liz, from like a therapeutic standpoint? the high beta? Is that what they say?
It can be both. A lot of people have very slow brains that have ADHD, and that's why they get a stimulant. That's why the typical medication for ADHD is like Ritalin or Adderall, because the brain is actually too slow. And so it's constantly seeking stimulation. So that's the hyperactive behavior, the million thoughts at a time. The flip side is you can have really a fast brain that's not slowing down. So that's the high beta that can manifest kind of like an anxious brain, or it can manifest as kind of an ADHD brain, or a little bit of both. But what eventually happens if you keep that beta super high, eventually your brain just gets fatigued, and that usually ends up with kind of depressive symptoms. So a lot of people with high beta will then experience crashes where they're like, I can't do anymore. I'm done. They're kind of, so.
Feels, Jeff, is that right? Is that like?
Oh yeah, that's actually right on for me. I remember several years ago, I went through, I called it a funk, where I was just depressed and for no reason. I didn't know why, for a long period of time, actually. So I can relate to what you're saying. Mm-hmm.
Just fascinating.
Yeah.
Cool. Liz, do you have anything that you want to share or encourage or anything for anybody?
Just keep doing it. That's the secret. We just started one of our both of our kids back on it. We're like, school's coming. They've turned into complete and total sloths, they're being kids. Like they're not, nothing bad, but
instead of like go to your room, you're like, get into Liz's office and do neuro.
But what's very cool is, especially with my older son, who tends to have more ADHD and anxiety and things like that, he doesn't fight it at all. He's like, I'm doing it. Pick this. He'll pick the show. It's like he knows. He wants to
figure it out. He doesn't like his the ADD type thing. He doesn't like it.
One of the things I recently, like when people are like, what do I see and what am I looking for, right? So when we talk about too much of this or not enough of that, I think I shared with Derek, but like I recently was listening to like a continuing ed thing, and it described the way we see it is like, if you remember in being a kid doing the science experiment where you shine a light through a prism and you get to see the rainbow. So light, is one thing, but if you can break it up, you see the colors of the rainbow. Well, that's what I see. So your brain waves are one thing. They go through the amp and they come out and I see the colored lines. Some of you, the lines are like not in the right order. And so it's kind of like, instead of having a red, orange, yellow, green, blue rainbow, you have like a blue, purple, green, red rainbow. Still a cool rainbow, doesn't make it bad, but when we get them back in the right order, it kind of works better as a whole. So that's kind of when I see the beta up, like it's just telling me like, all right, so if I bring that down, it's gonna come back to more the norm. So that's the cool thing about the software. Like it's like that prism showing what's going on in your brain, and then it gives us, then you can just see, you basically are seeing it on the screen when you fade out or it gets quieter. Your brain's like, oh, I don't like that. And so it can learn to kind of reorganize itself. So
I have a question for you guys. Do you have any questions on that for Liz? No, you guys are good. I have a question for you guys. How are you guys doing on being able to kind of filter out the noise of the market and everybody's all annoyed and everybody's all panicked and all that stuff, and just staying abundant right now through this? I'm curious on that.
I have no problems whatsoever.
Okay, don't take that for granted, because that's not normal.
No,
in a good way, but you know what I mean? In a good way.
Yeah, even like I was talking to one of the LOs in my company. She's like, I've got nothing for July, nothing. And I'm like, I'm not doing COVID numbers, but I'm still closing loans.
Awesome.
So
do you think this is helping? Do you think the neuro feedback helps with
Oh,
that?
heck yeah. I am like nervous Nelly normally. So all that mindset, all that it's been huge.
Awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah, I feel like I've been like the person kind of talking people off the cliff. Like,
Yes.
what do you think's going to happen, Dana? And it's like, we're just returning to normal. We're going to see some, smaller price adjustments with houses around where we're at, which frankly could happen, and probably needs to happen. And yeah, I'm not worried.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I maybe have moments here or there. I actually am having a goose egg in July. I didn't close anything this month, which hasn't happened for years.
Yeah.
But whatever. It's
Yeah.
fine. I have stuff going for August and stuff, so I'm not worried, but, and thank you for preaching reserves.
That's why.
So no,
Everybody thought I was insane, like when I introduced that. Like I don't know if you guys were there at the first one that I did. I believe it was either 17 or 18 Inspire it was in Leesburg when I first did it. And so there's like 150 capacity. I don't remember how many people were there, but there was one person that raised their hand and said they had 18 months. And everybody thought I was insane for doing that. And so good job, you guys, for listening and doing that work.
yeah. And I think, yeah, all of it. I think the neuro helps. I think coaching helps. I mean, this community, I think, is a game changer in general.
I feel the same. JS, what about you?
Yeah, I'm in the same camp as Dana. I feel pretty good, and I find when I'm talking to anyone, I'm just trying to educate, calm fear, just letting them know that, just trying to keep calm and like today I was at had a coffee meeting with a realtor, and I was like, there's so much negativity out there. I was like, I don't watch the news. I don't listen to this stuff, but I hear there's a lot of fear out there, and don't want to be the ones preaching the fear. And actually, one of the posts, and I told him, I was like, that the post that I posted with regard to the 18% increase in inventory and how that was a good thing for both buyers and sellers. I had a realtor actually steal that and then put a full 2 paragraphs underneath of about how horrible the market is, and then basically creating a fear situation out of something that was not. And I resisted by myself from, I wanted, my immediate response was, I got to say this guy's completely wrong, but I didn't respond at all. But just to say my response to when I was talking with my realtor this morning, I was like, he's out there preaching fear. How's that going to attract business? And
it does. It attracts nothing. That's what it attracts.
Yeah.
It definitely does. There's I mean, just when you said that, I got like a weird feeling energy, but yeah. I mean, can you imagine that from your like, hey, honey, do you think we should use that person for our realtor, or somebody that's like abundant and that like, yeah, well, you guys are turning into pros too. That's where the green. I mean, all this started with the green red when it really just became aware. Like, oh my God, energy has a real impact on your business, and especially the kind of business that you guys have. So, and then it just becomes, after that, it's just how do you be in green as much as possible, and that's really what it is. And then how do you share that? But I'll tell you this, the people that are like, I'm not kidding. We'll see if I might talk about it on Motivation Monday, but there's a couple people that are having record months. Not kidding. But they're literally the ones that are like, they're not playing into any of that. And they're going out and leading and doing classes and stuff, telling people why. Right. And I'm not participating in any of this, and I'm here to help all of you guys out to get through it. So I'm excited for you guys, because the rest of the industry isn't doing this kind of stuff.
I'll just throw out one more thing. It's compound effect. I'm sure you guys go over that a lot, but even when you miss for a while or your sessions get broken up. The compound effect, like your brain is always learning, like it's doing neurofeedback 24 hours a day. So anytime you interrupt it with a good positive thing to learn, it's in the system and you're building on it. So, ideally, right, we all have perfect schedules that allow for self-care and
But we have kids and life's like,
yeah,
but we live in the real world, right?
market shifts, things happen, it is what it is, but the compound effect of what you've done is not even the little blips from month to month are nothing compared to like when you're going to look back at yourself, what it was like 3 years ago or what it was like 5 years ago as you go forward. So yeah.
Well,
And you're all going to love it when you are really solid senior citizens that aren't losing your head. Right? Just like having dealt with recently some seniors, I'm like, oh my gosh, more people need to work on their brain way younger.
never thought about that benefit.
Yeah.
It will help you not be a crazy person when you're 85.
Good.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Can you think? Did anybody say anything confidential or anything? Steph wasn't able to be on this. So, is there anything that anybody wants me to delete or anything like that? Are you comfortable with this? You good? Okay, cool. You guys have an amazing Thursday and keep it up. Keep doing it. It only gets better. The more you do it, it only gets better. So
You guys know you have my link. You can always, if you even just want like a 10-minute, 5-minute, whatever, just I'm here for you.
Hit her up. Hit her
See you
up.
later.
Good day, guys.
Hey,
Bye.
guys.